It's that time of the month where the Xbox Games with Gold games have announced, and some of them have released. Now, this video didn't get very good reception last month. A lot of you PlayStation gamers were very angry with this video, and you disliked it to heck. You can go ahead and dislike it if you really want to. I'd appreciate it if you liked it instead, just because you want to help support me as a content creator. So I want to try and cover a diverse range of gaming topics on this channel. I don't want to be stuck just covering PlayStation and trophies. It's really not what I wanted. So I'm just asking that hopefully you guys understand why I'm making these videos and why I'm looking to expand things as well, and kind of just give me and it a bit of a chance to try and expand things a little bit. We're going to continue to make these Xbox videos as well as the PlayStation videos. Remember, if you're a PlayStation gamer and you only play on PlayStation, there's nothing wrong with that. That's perfectly fine. But if you're an adult like me who's got money, who plays on Xbox, Nintendo, and PlayStation, I'm hoping there's a few more of you out there who aren't just single console gamers. We're going to be looking at the Xbox Games with Gold in this video. We're going to take a look at the 4 games. We'll talk about them, why you should care about them, if they matter, and then we'll review the entire month as well and see if it's a good month for Xbox Games with Gold. Let's take a look. Now, like I said at the top, this is a review of the Xbox Games with Gold. If you're a PlayStation gamer, you're not an Xbox gamer, that's completely fine. You don't have to watch this video if it's not for you. Maybe you're watching it just because you want to see silly shenanigans I get up to in this video. That's okay as well. I personally play on a lot of different consoles. I am a trophy hunter on PlayStation, but I also play a ton of Nintendo Switch, and I use Game Pass on Xbox pretty frequently because it's a really cost-effective way of playing games. Now, I'm going to kick off straight off the bat and say this is a very weak month for Xbox Games with Gold. This is weaker than last month in my opinion, and it's probably worse than PlayStation Plus this month as well. We've got 4 games, 2 of them are fighting games, which is kind of unusual, but let's give it a score straight off the bat and say this is I think this is a 3 out of 10 month for Xbox Games with Gold. It's a pretty weak month. The 4 games, for those of you who may be unaware, is the King's Bird, Shadows Awakening. Those are both your series version games. And then Neo Geo, Battle Coliseum, and Injustice Gods Among Us are your 360 games that are coming. For those of you unaware, normally it's 2 sort of older gen games and 2 kind of newer gen games that work across everything. We'll start with the King's Bird. It's essentially a momentum platformer. Think like Super Meat Boy. Very similar to that in terms of how it is played and the scope of the game. You're moving really quickly through the environments and platforming through it. Actually looks pretty good, but you know, it's an indie game at best. It's not anything massive. It's not a big AAA game or anything like that. It's a smallish indie game. It looks like it retails for about $19, but I would say it's probably one of those games that you'll see for $10 on the Xbox Live Store at some point. The next one is Shadows Awakening, which to me feels a little bit Diablo-esque, a isometric hack and slash style game. $30 game here. And this one comes out in the middle of the month for Xbox Gold. Probably a bit of a stronger title, but if you're not into those sort of Diablo-esque dungeon crawling isometric RPG hack and slash games, then you know it's a bit of a miss. I think though this is probably the most well-rounded game of the month because it kind of appeals to a broader audience than you know maybe not a mascot platformer, a momentum platformer, especially because the King's Bird doesn't look like it's probably super accessible from a 2D platformer perspective. It does to me appear, and given all the marketing around it is around momentum, it does appear to me that it's probably going to be one of those more challenging games like Super Meat Boy, probably, rather than sort of your traditional 2D platformer. So that's the King's Bird and Shadows Awakening, your 2 series version consoles games for the month. You then have Neo Geo Battle Coliseum, which is one of 2 fighting games coming out this month for the 360 side of things, which is quite unusual, I would say. I'm surprised that they put 2 fighting games on here, and the interesting part is that PlayStation Plus actually also included 2 fighting games on their roster for the month too. So we're seeing a lot of fighting games as freebies this month. I'm not sure if that's just because they've hit a particular time in their life cycle to become free, or I have no idea. Neo Geo Battle Coliseum, all the best fighters wait for you with a host of original heroes and unique characters that transcend time. Unleash their tag team versus fight of your favorite Neo Geo warriors. I've never played this game. Like I said in the Plus video, I'm not a massive fighting game fan. I do dabble in some fighting games, but I'm just not a huge fighting guy, so it doesn't really do anything for me. Injustice Gods Among Us, though, I did dabble with quite a bit, made by the guys who make Mortal Kombat, and this is the final game as Xbox Gold, so it's the original Injustice game that came out on the 360 and the PS3. This isn't the remake or remaster for Series X or PS4. This one here it's a very traditional fighting game like Mortal Kombat, 2D fighting game where you take the role of a bunch of different DC superheroes. But the thing that's really cool behind this one is the narrative behind it. The story is really cool. It tells this story of the Injustice story from the same comic book arc. I'm not a comic book guy, so someone will probably correct me in the comment section, but it's a really fun storyline about how Superman kind of goes bad, and the different DC heroes turn bad, and some of them turn good, and things like that. It's just a very unique story, and it does storytelling so well from a superhero perspective. If you're a superhero fan and you enjoyed any of those other games like Arkham Asylum, Spider-Man, just because you like the journey of superheroes, then I think this is a great one to check out. For the story alone, it's worth playing, and the second one as well. Fantastic story to them, amazing cutscenes, really good voice acting, even if you're not into fighting games. And I battled through this one on, I think, the easiest difficulty just to get through to the end of the story so I could find out what happened, because it was so engaging, which is really interesting. So those are your 4 games this month: The King's Bird, Shadows Awakening, Neo Geo Battle Coliseum, Injustice, Gods Among Us. I don't know, I don't think this is going to set the world on fire in any way. I think this is a very weak month for Games with Gold, especially when you compare it to PlayStation Plus. I think I'll do a comparison video, which I'll record straight after this one, comparing the 2 services for the month. But I would say it's a weak month. I wouldn't jump on Games with Gold for this. I don't think it's worthwhile really at all. Like I said, 4 out of 10 month for me. What do you guys think though in the comment section down below? Let me know. I'm curious to get everyone's thoughts on what they think of Games with Gold for June 2021. Like I said, leave a comment down below, give us a like. If you didn't like this video, that's also completely fine. I know it's not going to be for everybody because we are trying to break new ground here, but if you're a new viewer, I would really appreciate a subscribe to the channel. That would be absolutely amazing. Hopefully you enjoyed, and I'll see you gamers all in the next one. Patrons, thank you so very much for each and every one of your generosity this month. You'll be seeing your names coming up here on the right hand side if you're a Patreon or a channel member on the YouTube channel this month. If you want to support me, if you do decide you want to support me further and help keep this channel's lights on, link in the description down below to become a Patreon, or you can click on the join button down below next to the subscribe button to become a channel member. Thanks, you guys, you're all legends.